One night, while Marcus was away on a business trip with his female assistant, I received a text message from him. Luna and I slept together. To be honest, it was incredible. She knows how to please a man better than you do. Less than 5 seconds later, it showed the message had been recalled. Marcus said he sent it to the wrong person. I replied, "It's fine. I didn't see it." When I arrived at Marcus's firm, carrying the thermal lunchbox, I was completely drenched by the pouring rain. Waiting for me, as usual, was Marcus's assistant, Luna. She sat on the sofa in the lobby, scrolling on her phone and sipping coffee, looking incredibly elegant. "Ms. Grace," Luna said, her face beaming with a smile when she saw me. "You've come to bring Mr. Marcus his meal again personally. You're so good to him." Marcus had a sensitive stomach and was picky. No matter who cooked, he'd get a stomach ache. Only the meal I prepared suited him. So, I personally cooked his lunch and dinner at home and brought them to the firm. However, Marcus never allowed me to go to his executive office. He always sent his assistant down to retrieve the food. "I made soup today. Tell him to drink plenty. It's good for his stomach," I said, handing her the thermal lunchbox. Luna skillfully and naturally opened the thermal lunchbox, then unconsciously frowned. "Why is it a pungent liver and onion stew? I hate eating liver." Just as I was about to ask her what she meant by that, I saw Marcus walking from the elevator lobby. He looked at me, then his gaze settled on Luna, asking her, "What's wrong? You gave her the meal I cooked?" I couldn't help but ask. Marcus seemed to think I was making a big deal out of nothing. He adjusted his sleek wire-rimmed glasses with displeasure. "Luna has a sensitive stomach. Eating at the company cafeteria gives her stomach pain." I opened my mouth, wanting to continue, but Luna cut me off. She bit her red lipstick, her eyes glistening as if about to cry. "I'm so sorry. Ms. Grace. Please don't be angry with Mr. Marcus. It's all my fault." Suddenly, everyone was looking at me. They thought I was making a big deal out of nothing. "It's just a few meals. Is the CEO's wife really that petty?" Bullying a young woman, the receptionist muttered quietly. Onlookers chimed in, "Eating a few meals makes the CEO's wife act like this?" If she knew Ms. Luna's cubicle was in Mr. Marcus's executive office, and they're together all day, she'd probably explode. Only now did I finally understand why Marcus never allowed me to step foot in his executive office. With the secret out, Marcus glanced at me and urged, "You should go back quickly. I have things to attend to." Seeing that I remained unmoved, he finally took half a step closer to me. In a very low voice, he told me, "I don't have time to argue with you, and don't throw a fit in front of so many people." In the past, I would have endlessly argued with Marcus, wailing and carrying on until he fired Luna, just to feel at ease. But today, I felt a little tired. Not physically, but my heart. Marcus shielded Luna in front of everyone, and the whispers and taunts threatened to drown me. It was as if I were the third party interfering in their relationship. After a long moment, I looked up, terrifyingly calm, and slowly walked forward. Luna kept trying to hide in Marcus's arms. "Mr. Marcus, I'm scared." Marcus patted her shoulder. "I'm here. She won't dare do anything to you." Indeed, I didn't slap her in public, nor did I give Marcus a single glance. Instead, I took the thermal lunchbox from Luna's hand and, in front of everyone, tossed it into the trash can. Immediately, Marcus lost face. It was the first time I had dared to show him such defiance. "What's wrong with you?" he demanded. "If you're hungry, go find a straw and drink from the trash can," I said, then turned and left. For several days in a row, Marcus didn't return home. And I didn't go to the firm to bring him food again. I started ing Marcus's credit card for a shopping spree, buying luxury items, and even visited several cemetery plots. It turned out that not playing housemaid for a man was incredibly comfortable. Near evening, I slowly returned home after enjoying some fine dining alone. The housekeeper saw me return and immediately whispered, "Madam, the master is back, and he's in a very bad mood. Please be careful." "He's in a bad mood?" Then my mood was absolutely great. Carrying my shopping bags, I didn't even glance at Marcus sitting on the sofa, and went straight upstairs. The master bedroom door was open. It seemed Marcus had already discovered I planned on sleeping in separate rooms. Just as I was putting my things away in the closet, one by one, Marcus's voice came from behind me. "Weren't you acting tough? Why are you still spending my money?" I straightened up, placed my phone face down on the nearby table, then looked at him and smiled. "Excuse me, but this is what I deserve." Marcus grabbed my shoulder and pinned me against the wall. "Spending my money is what you deserve, and fulfilling your conjugal duties is what I deserve." I dodged his kiss and asked, my face cold, so you came back because you're in heat? Marcus was very displeased with my attitude, but he still coaxed me patiently. Still angry? She's just an assistant, a tool for my desires. She's nothing significant, and she poses no threat to you. Do you love her, then? Marcus looked as if he'd heard a joke. He answered concisely, she's not worthy. Having received his answer, Marcus thought I had calmed down and that he could make me toil for him again. Honey, my stomach feels so bad when I don't eat your cooking, he said, his lips brushing my collarbone. Come bring me food tomorrow, please. I still love what you make. Without a trace of emotion, I subtly moved away again, finally offering him a smile. All right. The next day at noon, I arrived at the firm with a lunchbox. This time, Luna wasn't there. Since the last incident, the young receptionist seemed a bit intimidated by me, politely pressing the elevator button and inviting me upstairs. The door opened, and Marcus's assistant looked like he'd seen a ghost when he saw me, immediately blocking my way. Ms. Grace, what are you doing here? Mr. Marcus is not available to see you right now. You should go back. I tossed my purse onto a table and casually took a seat at the cubicle closest to the executive office. Then I opened the thermal lunchbox and arranged the meal. Of course, a show to binge watch is always more interesting live. Sure enough, smashing things sounds and Luna's cries soon came from inside the executive office. As for the conversation, it wasn't very clear. The argument lasted 10 minutes, then the executive office door opened. Luna ran out, crying, with Marcus right behind her. Both froze when they saw me. I calmly put away the used utensils. Marcus immediately began to lecture me. Grace, you've gone too far this time. Is it too far to send the truth you spoke to the person involved? I looked up, smiling. The truth always comes out, Mr. Marcus. I stood up, picked up my designer handbag, and finally, looking at Luna, repeated Marcus's words from the audio recording I had sent her. Just an assistant, nothing significant. I continued to smile, articulating each word, you are not worthy. With that, I left. Before entering the elevator, I could still hear Luna's miserable cries. Presumably, Marcus would have to spend a lot of effort coaxing her, and I would have several comfortable days. Sure enough, Marcus didn't return home for several weeks straight. When his assistant came to retrieve documents, he told me Marcus was on a business trip with Ms. Luna. I waved my hand, motioning for him to stop talking. I don't care. Let them have fun. Soon, I received a harassing phone call from Marcus. After rejecting it 5 times, I finally answered. I'm on a business trip in San, and my stomach isn't feeling well. Bring me the special medication from home. I munched on a healthy snack and replied, can't bring it. Marcus sounded annoyed. Why can't you bring it? Aren't you home? I'm in the Pacific. No reception. Bye. With that, I hung up without hesitation and accidentally hit block and delete. Marcus didn't bother me again. As night fell, I took a comfortable shower and, feeling completely relaxed, lay down in bed. I received another message from Marcus on WhatsApp. I tapped into the chat window. It was a mirror selfie of Marcus and Luna during that. Marcus, Luna and I slept together. To be honest, it was incredible. She knows how to please a man better than you do. I froze for a few seconds. Inappropriately, I remembered the old days, when I helped Marcus start from nothing, living in a damp basement apartment. My health was very poor back then. I spent all my savings helping him, and didn't even have money for medical care. One night, I had a high fever and lost consciousness. Marcus carried me on his back, rushing to the hospital. I remember him crying and kneeling by the hospital bed, holding my hand, saying he was sorriest to me in the whole world. We both shed tears when our eyes met. Only now did I realize how foolish I had been. Later, he became successful in his career, and we naturally married, living a happy life for a while. I had to admit, I had experienced happiness, and that happiness came from Marcus. Unfortunately, a man's love changes quickly. I'd heard many rumors about him and other women, and I'd tirelessly confronted him. Finally, Marcus cut ties with all those women. I thought I had won. But I was always winning because his string of affairs never stopped. Suddenly, I no longer wanted to compete for a win. Perhaps I just didn't love Marcus anymore. I took a deep breath and replied, so good at pleasing a man. Truly a maid's calling. Before the message could even send, Marcus recalled the picture and message. Marcus, say NT to the wrong person. I replied, it's fine. I didn't see it. I turned off my phone, but not before blocking him on WhatsApp. Unexpectedly, Marcus returned home in the middle of the night. I was woken by the noise downstairs. Groggy, I went down and saw the entire house filled with flowers. Surprise, do you like them? He smiled, continuing, I went too far this time. Let these flowers be my apology. A hint of impatience showed in my expression. What are you doing acting crazy in the middle of the night? Seeing that I still wouldn't show him any respect, the smile completely vanished from Marcus's face. He said in a cold voice, Grace, I advise you to quit while you're ahead. I knew he was annoyed. After all, no matter how much I used to act up, I never dared to say harsh words to him. As long as he promised to end his affairs with other women, I would pretend nothing had happened and continue playing housemaid, obedient and understanding. Quit while I'm ahead? I sneered, staring at him. These pathetic flowers are your idea of being good to me? Marcus, at least show me something substantial. Marcus scrutinized me from head to toe, finally looking into my eyes and asking, what do you want? The lakeside estate on Willow, I answered without hesitation. That estate was in an excellent location and would only become more valuable. Unfortunately, it wasn't communal property between Marcus and me. Marcus suddenly laughed. Quite greedy, aren't you? But I don't recall us having any memories there. I was so foolish back then, crying and nagging him to remember how difficult our journey together had been. In the end, I was only moving myself. Now, I finally understood the truth. Money was the most important thing. What's the point of memories? I replied with a smile. That estate is the most expensive. What I want is money. Before our marriage, Marcus and I signed a prenuptial agreement. The house, the cars, and all the firm's profits and dividends belong to him. He told me then that these were just formalities, that his entire being belonged to me, so what was there to fear? Yes, he used to be my everything. With him, I was richer than anyone in the world. Marcus stood up, walked over to me, and reached out to touch my earlobe. Be a good girl, Grace. I'll give you anything you want. I smiled faintly, turning my face away and dodging his lips again. A few days later, Luna arranged to meet me at a coffee shop. She got straight to the point, throwing a stack of documents onto the table. It was the contract for transferring ownership of the lakeside estate on Willow. Ms. Grace, I'm so sorry, but I really like this estate too, Luna said provocatively. And I also like your man. I calmly took a sip of coffee and slowly said, then you can have it. Luna was surprised by my calmness, asking suspiciously, aren't you angry? Angry? I smiled. When it comes to money, yes, I get angry. As for trash, it's best disposed of in the trash can. With that, I stood up. Now, all I care about is Marcus's money. Luna grew excited. So, are you two getting a divorce? She had been with Marcus for so long but hadn't gained much materially. If she could become Mrs. Marcus, she'd have endless money. And no one would dare look down on her. Of course. I looked at her, smiling. No. Luna looked at me. Marcus stopped loving you long ago. Are you still clinging to him? Of course I am, I continued. I can't bear to part with his money, his credit cards. I left the coffee shop, just as a downpour started at an inconvenient time. I stepped into the curtain of rain. In reality, I knew better than anyone that Marcus no longer loved me. After all, I had seen what he was like when he loved me. But didn't love Luna either, nor any of his past affairs. In the whole world, he loved himself most. Because I had been in the rain, I developed a high fever in the middle of the night. When returned home, I was still dozing from the medicated on, vaguely hearing him take a shower, then lie down beside me. He embraced me from behind, pressing against my back, and whispered, Grace, you've changed so much recently. Did I go too far? Seeing that I didn't speak, Marcus sighed. None of them compare to you. Not even Luna. I can't give you that estate anymore, he explained. Luna is pregnant with my child and is refusing to terminate the pregnancy, insisting I divorce you and marry her. She's a foolish woman, so I gave her the estate on the condition that she terminates the pregnancy. I, who had been hazy before, became completely sober upon hearing these words. Marcus and I had a child once too. Back then, his career had just started to pick up, and he needed a lot of money. I really wanted to keep it, but disagreed, and we had a huge fight about it. That very night, I had a severe hemorrhage and suffered a miscarriage. Since then, I have never been pregnant again. Marcus. My voice was a little hoarse. He touched my face. Are you crying? I've been waiting, I said. My disjointed words left Marcus bewildered. What do you mean? I opened my eyes and said tiredly, I waited for you to become successful and marry me. I waited for you to feel for me and agree to keep the baby. I waited for you to come to your senses and return to our home. A strange panic seized Marcus's heart. He grabbed my hand. I'm so tired, I said, smiling, though tears welled up. I'm truly exhausted. I really wish time could flow backward, let me return to the past. This time, I wouldn't follow you. No. Marcus hugged me tightly, almost suffocating me. Grace, you can't leave me, not even if you die. Fever and lack of oxygen caused me to completely lose consciousness. I woke up 3 days later. The first person I saw when I opened my eyes was Marcus. He looked like he hadn't rested in a long time, his eyes were dark with exhaustion, and his hair was messy. Seeing me awake, a smile appeared on Marcus's tired face. Ace, you've finally woken up. I didn't know if it was a delusion. The way Marcus's eyes showed he felt for me now was no different from when he used to love me. I felt a little disoriented, my hand trembling as I reached out, wanting to touch the Marcus who was once as beautiful as light. Interrupting me was the sudden intrusion of Luna. She rushed to the hospital bed, pushed Marcus aside, and slapped me. The left side of my face quickly became hot and red, and my ears rang. Marcus reacted, quickly stepping in front of me, asking angrily, "What are you doing?" Luna was crying uncontrollably, a weeping mess. She sank to the floor, murmuring, "Marcus, you can't abandon me. I'm still carrying your child. Didn't we agree?" The lakeside estate on Willow in exchange for the child, Marcus frowned. "I've changed my mind." Luna crawled forward, grabbing Marcus's pant leg. Marcus then said, "Regret is useless. My heart only belongs to my wife. I made it very clear to you back then, it was mutual, and we were just having fun. If you're going to argue, get out." My head was throbbing. If I hadn't been so weak, I would have returned Luna's slap twofold. Marcus gave me a complex look, then dragged Luna out. The hospital room fell silent. I lay on the hospital bed, looking out the window. It was then that the doctor entered. He held a few medical reports in his hand and asked, "Where is the family?" "I don't have family," I said. "Just tell me directly whatever the problem is." The doctor hesitated, then finally handed me the medical report. "Your breast biopsy report is back. Inflammatory breast cancer, with signs of metastasis." I stared blankly at the doctor, unable to hear anything. I only saw his mouth open and close, announcing my death sentence. Breast-related diseases are often linked to emotions. Perhaps you've been under prolonged suppression and suffering, and often getting angry. I came to my senses and said weakly, "I used to get angry easily, but I'm much better now. How could this be? Is there a mistake?" The doctor sighed and told me to seek treatment as soon as possible. When the door closed completely, tears welled up in my eyes too. I covered my face, tears streaming through my fingers, just like a life I couldn't hold on to. Marcus came to see me at the hospital a few days later, but I had long grown used to being alone. He placed all the fruit and soup on the table, then sat on the sofa, peeling an apple for me. "Oh, by the way, while you were unconscious, I had the doctor give you a full physical. Your breast ultrasound showed something, so they took a tissue sample for a biopsy. It shouldn't be a big problem, your health has always been good," Marcus said, offering the apple to my mouth. "Taste it, is it sweet?" I looked up, staring at him. "What's wrong?" Marcus explained, "Things at the firm have been busy these past few days. Are you angry?" I grabbed his tie, and Marcus leaned in, allowing me to clearly see the hickey on the back of his neck. He carried the same perfume scent as Luna. I released him, closed my eyes, and said, "I thought we could torment each other for a lifetime. After all, you're the only man I've ever loved in this life, and I'm not reconciled to this." "Grace?" Marcus held my hand. "Marcus." I took a deep breath, and as I opened my eyes, tears slipped down. "Let's get a divorce." His eyes were filled with disbelief. Marcus panicked. "What kind of joke is this?" Before, no matter how dissolute he was or how angry I got, I had never mentioned divorce. "Is it because of Luna?" Marcus frantically pulled out his phone. "I'll fire her right now and cut ties completely." "Grace, don't worry, I'll handle it, just like before." I shook my head. "No need. Even without Luna, there will be other Lunas and Chloes. You won't change." My voice trembled more and more. "I helped you start from nothing, drank myself sick covering for you, and lost our child. You took advantage of me being an orphan, of my love for you, of me being my wife, and you brazenly bullied me. But what wife can watch her husband cheat, entangled with other women, without pain or tears? And you stopped feeling for me long ago." Marcus kept rubbing his hands together, nervous habit. It was his habit when he was tense and helpless. He had done this motion when he confessed his love to me, before the groom's speech at our wedding, and when he asked me to terminate the pregnancy. "I don't hate you," I said. "A person facing death feels neither love nor hate." And I don't love you anymore. Marcus lowered his head, pulling at his hair, and when he spoke again, his voice choked. Grace, I know I was wrong. Forgive me. Forgive me one last time. Marcus sat by my hospital bed all night. I had many dreams. I dreamed of us eating instant ramen and splitting a single egg in the basement apartment. Drinking cheap beer in a tiny rental, toasting to his future. In the vast villa, we were sharing a bed, but estranged. Finally, I dreamed of my ashes scattered at sea. When I woke up, Marcus was no longer there. I packed my things and asked the doctor to process my discharge. The doctor thought I was giving up on treatment. I smiled. I still want to live to 100, so I want to go to a better, larger hospital. Before returning home, I printed out the divorce agreement and signed it with a pen I grabbed from the print shop. The rest was for Marcus. Unexpectedly, he was home, busy in the kitchen. Seeing me, Marcus was surprised. Why are you discharged? His finger had a band-aid on it, and the cutting board was covered in blood. Let's talk. Marcus followed me to the living room. We sat facing each other on the sofa. I took the divorce agreement from my purse and placed it on the table. Marcus just glanced at it, and his face instantly changed. You had a prenuptial agreement before our marriage, so the firm, the house, and the cars have nothing to do with me. However, you committed adultery ing the marriage, so I want $5 million as compensation. I smiled. This amount of money, for Mr. Marcus, should be nothing. However, this was money for my medical treatment. It could ensure I lived comfortably for the rest of my life. Provided, of course, that I still had a chance to live. Marcus skimmed the divorce agreement, then looked at me. Is this whole commotion about money? He laughed with relief, leaning back on the sofa. I can give you money, and also a house, cars, and even some shares in the firm. I can consider all of that. My condition is, no divorce, he said, confident of victory. I don't have time to fight with you anymore, I said, a bit anxious. I don't want anything else. I just want the money. Grace, I've made myself clear enough. I can give you the money, but on the condition that you remain my wife. His anger made me feel even worse. I turned and went upstairs to rest, locking the room door behind me. I couldn't waste any more time on him like this. Marcus had all the time in the world, but I didn't. I packed up everything in the house, selling my luxury items, clothes, and purses online. Finally, I pulled open the nightstand drawer. Inside was a delicate, small box. When opened, a ring came into view. It was Marcus's and my wedding ring. The diamond was large enough, and the craftsmanship was good, it could fetch a good price. Perhaps was truly cutting ties with Luna. After she was fired from the firm, she found me. I asked the housekeeper to let her in. The moment Luna stepped through the door, I slapped her. Completely unprepared, she was knocked to the floor, glaring at me furiously. What are you looking at? I smiled. Just returning the favor. I turned and walked towards the living room, calmly sipping hot tea. Looking for Marcus? Luna clutched her face, gritting her teeth. What spell did you cast on him? He actually fired me and is cutting ties with me. It seems you're still too foolish, I reminded her. In the audio recording I sent you, he made it clear, to Marcus, you're nothing. I don't believe it. Luna flared up. He explained it to me, saying those were all lies he spouted because you forced him. Marcus said I'm the one he loves most, and you're old and ugly, he's sick of you. I remained unruffled, a stark contrast to her. Since you're so confident, then tell Marcus to divorce me. Weren't you unwilling to divorce? Luna asked suspiciously. I've changed my mind, I said. After the divorce, the position of Mrs. Marcus will be yours. You can even have the child. How does that sound? Are you really that kind? Luna suspected I was playing a trick. I confessed, it's not kindness. It's because I'm dying. Inflammatory breast cancer, and it has metastasized. Luna froze for a few seconds, looking at me. I tossed her the medical report. After confirming it several times, Luna finally sat down and discussed terms with me. What do you want? She asked. Isn't it obvious? Money for treatment, I said. I want to live freely. How are you going to help me? Marcus won't agree to a divorce, so I need you to team up with me to get evidence of his infidelity. That way, when I sue him, I can get as much money as possible, I continued. But don't worry, I'm not greedy. It won't affect your becoming a trophy wife at all. Besides, you don't care about your reputation. Once everyone knows about your relationship with him, and even the child, he'll have no choice but to marry you. Luna bit her lip, seemingly conflicted. I drained my tea. Last chance. It's entirely up to you whether you do it or not. Without you, I can still choose someone else. I have plenty of options. Luna gritted her teeth. Okay. I'll do it. Luna's phone had many explicit chat logs and some videos of Marcus sent her. It turned out that what he had said about going overseas for a business trip was actually him cohabiting with Luna. They even went grocery shopping, cooked meals, and snuggled on the sofa watching romantic movies. Luna saw my blank stare and asked, "Are you sad?" I shook my head. "Just remarking on a rotten person, that's all." Immediately after, Luna contacted Marcus to reconcile. I was wondering if Marcus would take the bait. Then, from the other end of the phone, I heard Marcus sighing, "Luna, I don't want to hurt Grace anymore, so we can continue, but it must be kept secret, low-key, she can't know." Luna, her face full of joy, started acting coy with him. Marcus said he would go to her place that evening. At the same time, my phone rang. "Marcus, Grace, work's been busy lately, so I won't be home. Take care of yourself. Marcus, be a good girl, and also, I love you." I replied with a sneer, "Okay, take care. I'll wait for you." If I didn't let him lower his guard, how would he expose his weaknesses? After finalizing the plan with Luna, she happily returned home. I sent all the housekeepers home, leaving me alone in the vast villa. And my husband. At this very moment, he was at another woman's home. Luna didn't disappoint me. That night, she sent me an audio recording of their conversation, along with a video. I heard Marcus say, "Grace actually thought about divorcing me. We need to be more careful, understood?" Luna asked him, "Do you love her, or do you love me?" After a moment of silence, Marcus said, "Fool, I love you." What followed were unspeakable sounds. The next day, Marcus took Luna to San. I hid in the shadows, taking photos and videos of them publicly embracing and even passionately kissing. It was enough, I thought. 3 days later, Marcus returned from San. He brought me many gifts, and I watched him in the living room as he proudly introduced them one by one, as if seeking praise. "Do you like them?" Marcus asked me, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Ignoring his question, I directly asked, "Actually, you haven't broken up with Luna yet, have you?" Marcus flinched. "How could that be? It's been completely over for a long time." "Grace, you're overthinking things again. Don't lie to me," I said. "I want to hear the truth." Marcus paused, then looked into my eyes and nodded. "Yes," she cried and begged me. I felt a little reluctant. She said if I stayed with her, she would terminate the pregnancy. I was doing this for our marriage. I lowered my head, finding it amusing. That's truly a monumental sacrifice. I suddenly turned off my phone's audio recording, stood up, and started upstairs, but couldn't help stopping. I turned around, looked at Marcus, and smiled. "Marcus, we'll never see each other again." While was in a frenzy at the firm dealing with problems caused by his subordinates, I left the Shin residence. I found a hotel and checked in. Not long after, Marcus received a court summons. I sat in my seat and looked at him. Marcus clenched his fists, wanting to come to me, but was stopped. My objective was simple. Divorce, and money. Marcus's objective was also simple, absolutely no divorce. But my evidence was abundant. It could even prove that he and Luna had cohabited. When all the evidence was laid before Marcus, he looked at me, utterly helpless. Ultimately, I won completely. The courthouse ruled in favor of divorce and awarded compensation, though it wasn't the $5 million I wanted. Walking out of the courthouse, I felt completely light. Looking up at the sky, there were blue skies and white clouds, and the wind had traveled 100,000 miles. And we were no longer us. Marcus walked out and stood beside me, his eyes bloodshot. "Were you and Luna conspiring?" "What a shame," I said. "I should have done this the first time you cheated." Marcus reached out to grab me, but I dodged him. "I'm giving you the first half of my life. For the second half, farewell forever." That night, I bought a plane ticket and flew overseas, then checked into a hospital for treatment. A month later, my condition improved. Luna called me, crying, saying that Marcus didn't want her and had even arranged for her to have a miscarriage. She begged me for help. I could also hear Marcus's angry curses on the phone. Luna was agitated, and both of them were hurling insults at each other. Where was the loving affection they once had? When a relationship reaches its end, this is always the result. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard Luna roar, "Don't you want to know why Grace did all this? Fine, I'll tell you. She has cancer and is going to die soon." Silence instantly. I heard Marcus curse, and the sound of a door being slammed shut. If I wasn't mistaken, he would come looking for me. But he couldn't find me anymore. That night, I received countless unknown calls and text spam. All from Marcus. Finally, I answered. On the other end of the phone, Marcus was crying like a child. He said, "Grace, I was wrong. Where are you? I'll come find you. Even if it means death, I'll be with you." Too fake. I didn't believe a selfish person like Marcus. "Please, for my sake, since I'm almost dead, stop bothering me. I don't want you to be alone, Grace. But from the day you abandoned me and cheated, I learned to be alone," I said calmly. "Marcus, just as you cursed me with your cruel words back then, I'll die young, with no one to claim my body. Stop talking, please." Marcus completely broke down, crying loudly. "I'll transfer you money, all my money. Please, get good treatment. I beg you." I hung up the phone, and a text message popped up. 5 million credited to my bank card. I chuckled. Was this all his money? Marcus sent another text message. "Grace, please get good treatment. If you need more money, remember to tell me. If you're willing to see me, just let me know, and I'll come be with you." I didn't block his number. Marcus started transferring money to me every month, sometimes 50,000, sometimes 100,000. This continued for an entire year. My condition was brought under control. After excision surgery and lengthy chemotherapy, there were no signs of metastasis or recurrence. However, I had to take medication for the rest of my life. Fortunately, I was still alive. On the day I was discharged, the sky was clear for miles. My phone vibrated. It was a text message from Marcus. "Marcus, Grace, are you doing better recently? Marcus, for this month's payment, I'll make you a deal. Tell me where you are, and I'll give you $1 million. I replied to him, "It is with profound sadness that we announce Grace's passing last night due to illness, at the age of 33. As per her wishes, no farewell service will be held. She has been cremated, and her ashes scattered at sea. May she find freedom in her next life." Marcus did not reply again. That evening, my roommate asked me, "Aren't you afraid he might actually sacrifice himself for you?" I shook my head, smiling. Him? At most, he'd shed a few tears for a few days, then he'd start looking for someone new to fill the void, all while convincing himself he's truly heartbroken. I was incredibly curious and asked a friend back home to discreetly inquire. Surprisingly, Marcus held a funeral for me in the country and erected a tombstone. On it was written that I was his beloved wife. He knelt before my tombstone for 3 days and 3 nights, eventually collapsing and passing out. Word also had it that after Luna was abandoned and lost the baby, she suffered a mental breakdown. She drove her car into Marcus. But merely injuring him wasn't enough, she even got out and stabbed him 3 times. The first stab was for herself. The second, for her deceased baby. And the third, on my behalf. Finally, she drove her car off the cliff, and her body was never recovered. Unexpectedly, Marcus survived, because Luna's every stab had avoided vital organs, except for one particular part of his body. From then on, he would be unable to enjoy intimacy. Though his life was spared, he was paralyzed, lying in bed with only his eyeballs able to move. The day my roommate and I returned to the country, we went to see Marcus. He had no dignity left, letting the caregiver attend to his bodily waste. When he saw me, his eyes widened. I pulled up a chair and sat down, then began peeling an apple for him, saying slowly, "Compared to those patients with no money, you're actually living a good life right now. But how long do you think it will last? When it comes to profit, everyone at the firm will be looking out for themselves. Now that you're like this, just wait to be ousted." He blinked his eyes hard. I knew he wanted to ask me if I was going to take over his firm. I replied, "I'm not interested in those things. I have enough money to live comfortably." Finally, I stood up, covered him with the blanket, and whispered in his ear, "Marcus, on my 18th birthday, I had 3 wishes, but only made 2. My first wish was for us to hold hands and walk down the aisle. My second wish was for you to achieve success and renown, and no longer struggle or suffer. Today, I'm making my last one. May you be stripped of wealth, plagued by illness, eternally alone, and meet a miserable end." I left the hospital room and closed the door. The rain had just cleared, and a rainbow appeared. I thought back to that lavish wedding, the quiet of the late night, and the dazzling fireworks. For the rest of my life, all past grievances, love, and hate are nullified. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.